Hey everybody, Edo here, and I am super excited because we are going to be launching the Siblings Trouble Expanded Deluxe Edition soon on Kickstarter, July 25th to be exact. And as is a tradition on this channel, I will talk about what I did, or Pencil First Games did differently for this Kickstarter. Year over year, we do Kickstarters. And as time passes, some of our approaches change based on the market, things we've perceived, seen, other campaigns, etc. The type of campaign we're working on, with the game. And yeah, I think I've done probably 16 or 17 of these by now. So there's been a lot of them. And so again, Tuesday, July 25th, the Kickstarter link will be below, as well as a link to the preview page. So that's an opportunity to see some of the things that I'm talking about over the course of this video. And certainly, please, if this is useful information to you, like the video, but also certainly subscribe and hit the notification flag on that Kickstarter and maybe engage with it, back for $1, whatever, or if you're really excited for the Siblings Trouble as much as I am, back for the game. But so, the Siblings Trouble Expanded Deluxe Edition, as it sounds, is an Expanded Deluxe Edition of one of our original games here at Pencil First Games. This was from 9 years ago, and this is a card-driven storytelling game where, it's like a really fast 30-minute role-playing game you play with the cards where you make an adventure deck. Really easy in, easy out, lots of fun. Did the original Kickstarter, it funded, made the title, have been sold out for some time, and wanted to bring it back. And so, much like we did with the Liftoff Get Me Off This Planet Expanded Deluxe Edition, we're doing the same thing here with the Siblings Trouble. Now, some interesting things. So one, like Liftoff, it's an older title, hasn't been around for some time, so we're looking to refresh it and bring it to not only existing players, the folks who backed originally and have the Siblings Trouble, but also new players. And so the Expanded Deluxe Edition effectively includes what amounts to an entire expansion within the game, and then some updated components and things like that along with it. So it's new locations, new cards for the existing locations, like just myriad things. And so one of the things that we're doing is we have the Expanded Deluxe Edition, which also, like Liftoff, we did a new cover, really sort of modernized the front end of it, just made it much more, I like the original too, but like just a little bit more compelling for a box cover. But also we've done an expansion as well. So you can back for the Expanded Deluxe Edition, or you can back for just the expansion. Now what's interesting here is the expansion isn't likely to go to retail. Generally speaking, from a Pencil First Games perspective, we'd like to bring out this new edition and have this new edition be what people get and talk about and see in retail when we get to that point. But at the same time, we want to make sure that somebody who backed the original game is able to update. For Liftoff, what we ended up doing is we made like a update kit where you would get this. It was like in a white box, and inside had all the new components, and you changed out some shards and you put some new things in, and if you did it the right way, it would fit in the old box. That's not really the case here with the Expanded the Deluxe Edition. All this new content, and the Siblings Trouble box is a small box. And so what ended up happening is we are basically just making this expansion, and it full box, full cover. It's a full product, but it's just not it's not the deluxe larger combined product. So when it comes to the campaign, now getting to what we're doing on the campaign page, we need to be promoting both. It's not only the Expanded Deluxe Edition, but also the expansion. And within the campaign page, we need to talk to that. So I talked about some of the differences. In terms of the page, it's pretty standard Pencil First Games layout, the order of information as it's presented. Because we're really looking to get as many as old backers as new players, we're still focusing on presenting best foot forward the Expanded Deluxe Edition effectively to new audiences. The campaign certainly talks about the differences, and it has the expansion, and so anyone who's interested in Siblings Trouble who played the original still has it, whatever, is easily able to see what they need. But talking a little bit from a business perspective, that's not the growth audience. That's the audience that hopefully they love the game, still have it, or they don't. Like there's a fixed number of folks who pick that up, and this is the opportunity to engage with them. Whereas there's this larger potential audience of new folks, and so somebody who enjoyed the Siblings Trouble, I don't have to convince them as much on the expansion as somebody who's never heard of it, right? So we come in, talk about the expanded deluxe edition. We go out of our way in the components to lay out the original and all the new stuff. And we talk about why the expanded deluxe edition is so exciting. And then from there, we go in and then we break down what is just the expansion in there. So, it's a little bit more work. Certainly having done Liftoff, it's the expanded deluxe edition. This is the second one we're doing. We're like and we've also done some of the pocket editions, but we're able to go look at the old campaign page and pull a lot of assets from that, as well as earlier reviews. Or again, we were in Tabletop Deathmatch or in PAX Indie Showcase, some of that promotional material, and mix it in. So the page is sort of a combination of new and old stuff that resonated in the original, plus new content from new Kickstarter previews and things like that. So we have that little bit of reuse, and I think the Liftoff campaign helped understand some of the messaging and the way to talk about it and think about the game. It is, I'll say, pretty neat to go back to some of these original titles and expand on them and get back into it. One of the new things is on Kickstarter now, on the right side, the reward side, you can include images. That's crazy. That's new. So we now have images on the right side of our campaign along with the reward tiers. That's never, and there's no, I don't believe we've ever had a Kickstarter for Pencil First Games that had that. We aren't using add-ons. That's an option, but we don't really have a bunch of add-ons. And the other thing is this campaign, I'm not doing something where you get to a pledge manner. We'll have a pledge manner, but not the thing where you're trying to sell every single title from Pencil First that ever existed. This is really focused on the single game. And we're not using Kickstarter's partnership with Pledge Manager. Now, we talked to them, we got the information, but ultimately it just didn't make sense to us to engage with that process and those folks. So we'll continue to use Jetbacker, which has worked fine, and we've used it over the previous campaigns. For this one, though, we're going to be using the Jetbacker or Pledge Manager in order to handle tax and VAT, which is a requirement, but not actually to handle the shipping pledge. So when somebody backs on this campaign, which is different than the last campaign, they'll come in, they'll pledge for the product, and they'll pay the shipping, and then they'll just have a notification about tax or VAT depending on their location. We went back and forth on this. I think you can do it both ways. I didn't feel great about, I don't know. You could go both ways. We debated it, and we could have easily shipped it done after. I think, just get mixed back. Some backers like it, some backers don't. There isn't a good solution on Kickstarter right now to handle VAT and taxes, so you need to take care of that. From a shipping perspective, we now are into a pretty big rhythm where we are shipping product out of UK and Europe with a agent handling all of the tax implications in those regions. We're working out of VFI and co-partners for Australia and other countries like that. We work with a partner in Canada. Obviously, in the United States, we'll handle it with a partner here in the States. So, we have a pretty big network of the shipping fulfillment process that's pretty much been consistent with how we've been doing it year over year. But we have been oscillating on how to do the Jetpacker. So Pledge Manager versus Kickstarter portion, so that's been adjusted. We still have the large shipping graphic with all of the different details. We adopted that a few Kickstarters ago and continue to use it. One of the other interesting things here, and this was true in the original the Liftoff Expanded Deluxe Edition, hemmed and hawed about doing a mini expansion. That's pretty much a staple of the products we've done from Pencil First Games on Kickstarter, where we'll have the game and then we'll have a $5 expansion mini thing that isn't available at retail, but is available on Kickstarter or via conventions or our website. But basically, it's like a $5 add-on you're getting for free. And that's a value add to the Kickstarter. It feels weird with the expanded deluxe editions because it's like they're intended to be it, right? They're intended to have all of it in it and feel that way and to be like, well, there's this thing outside and I don't know. But so we could and like anything, we could have obviously taken a little bit of the content and like pulled it out. But I don't know. We didn't do it with Liftoff. We're not doing it with this one. It's interesting. We are probably going to still have add back in we haven't done this in a long time, but like a Y back on Kickstarter. We're pricing it under MSRP. We're going backers will get it before retail, things like that. So we're going to work towards sort of creating that compelling perspective, but it's not with the added mini expansion, which I do think free mini expansions, I do think is a big value add, but it just feels weird on a expanded deluxe edition, and maybe it shouldn't, but it does. For what it's worth, it's Pencil First Games' first title that has a metal coin in it, which is awesome, which is a lot of fun. That was a little there's a new mode with a Destiny character that can act and drive play and can flip a coin for like good or bad and drive the story sort of along with those coin flips. So it's a cool new addition to the game, but most significant on the Pencil First Games side. It's just the first time we've ever done a coin like that. Otherwise, it's a pretty much in line with our campaign. We continue to try to shorten and streamline the Kickstarter page and sort of just be like, you really have to grab somebody's attention. You can't have tons and tons of scrolling on a phone. Think about the mobile experience and just trying to keep it pretty compact and poppy because I think the attention span for these things are pretty limited nowadays. I guess what I'd end with is we worked with our manufacturing partner to have really low print threshold. The Siblings Trouble is a fantastic game we has sold through and been very excited about, but it wasn't like a market changer. And so, given that, I wanted to make sure that we could have a achievable Kickstarter goal that was also small, but one that we could fulfill against. So talk to our partner about having our manufacturer about having a really nuanced range of printing thresholds. So in the event, for example, the Expanded Deluxe Edition does really good, but we only have like a really small number of expansions sold, which, we're, sort of going forward, it's not going to be about the expansion, it's going to be about the Deluxe Edition, that kind of thing. Having really low print thresholds, so we could if, for example, we only sell 500 expansions, or probably not even that, like 400, we can just print 500 of them and then not be sitting on 2,000 copies, right? So really thinking through the financials and how to accommodate these two different versions was a big deal. Fortunately, since the Expanded Deluxe Edition, part of how you do this, for what it's worth, if you talk with your partner, if everything in the smaller box comes from the bigger box, you can sort of be like, well, it's just like you printed 250 more of that stuff and then you fed it into the other thing. So I'm just buying a box to put it in and stuff like that. So it's a little more nuanced than that. But again, it's interesting. Kickstarter has obviously changed. The market has changed. We are being pretty lightweight on we're not doing a significant amount of paid marketing, whether we're not doing, media, promotional paid media. We might do something on Twitch or something that ends up, we spend a little bit of money on, but really no big review content or preview content. We're not doing a significant amount of marketing and ad spend. I think the biggest investment in this consideration that we made was spending to do a really plussed up box cover. Basically, it was sort of rather than spending to campaign or market that initial box, or having something that in every image grabs your attention a little bit more might, I'd rather spend $1,000 there, for example, than just on one piece of content. Having something that just shows better universally. So that was an interesting take, and we'll see how that goes. I think for Liftoff, it was a good choice. So anyway, that is what I did differently for the Siblings Trouble Expanded Deluxe Edition and Expansion Kickstarter. It is going to be live on July 25th. Thank you, as always, for watching, and play some great games. Thanks. Bye. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks. Bye.